Okay, in this tutorial we'll show you a couple different ways of how to import data. Data can be any sort of feature, either a point file, line file, or polygon file that we want to lay over this map that we have here. This can be in any location, and there's all sorts of archives for these all over the place. So we'll show you some of those here. So when we do this, again, you're going to be dealing with the Add Data button here. I'd like to make a clarification that you need to click the right part of that, and that's going to bring up different sets here. If we do Add Data, the top one, that's for data that's currently on your computer. If you have some stuff saved on your desktop or on in your files folder somewhere, you can do that. We already went through base map, so that's where you just put the background image on. The next thing I'm going to show you is adding data from ArcGIS online. So if you click that, it'll bring up a window with the local file server from ArcGIS itself. This file folder will incorporate all sorts of data that users across the web have included into ArcGIS. I will try that one more time. Oh, there it is. Okay. So when you click on that, you can see that there's some featured content that comes up, but we can search anywhere here. So for ours, we'll do the state of Washington and see what comes up. Be aware that some of the data here is pretty intensive in terms of downloading it. You have a lot of just very large files here, so you can look at details for these. It'll bring up the description and of what you're looking at and the properties. One of the things to notice here is the spatial reference. Whatever the coordinate system is referenced here, and if you go have a map that's currently under a different coordinate system, you have to reference back and forth, and we'll show you how to do that. So let's just kill that one. Under state of Washington, you can see that there's multiple different things here. We're just going to look at eco-regions here. If you look at that one, we have the GCS North American data, which is the one that I believe we're currently using. So we'll go ahead and add this one. If you can either click here under the Add button, or once you look at the properties, you can click here. So I'll just add that data in, and in a second it should show up, and lo and behold, there it does. So this, again, you can see that this data overlays, and this is a polygon file, so these are the polygons that's showing you which kind of what kind of terrain it is here. So we have the Klamath Mountains, Columbia Plateau, all sorts of different notations there. Okay, the next way we'll show you to import data is if you go instead of using one of these options directly, we want to actually use this button for adding data, but we're actually going to go and show you where you can get some data on the internet. So if I go and pull up internet or Chrome or whatever web browser you want to use, I'm just going to type in here GIS data, WSDOT. So that's Washington State Department of Transportation. You can find GIS data in various locations. This is specific to the state of Washington. If I click on the first one and we look here, you're going to see that there are several data sets in here. So we have airports and ferry routes and state highways and just various things. We have city points. We have urban growth areas. You name it, we got it here. And so I just want to go ahead and download one of those. We'll actually download the national parks here. When I download this will just get downloaded to the to where my downloads are, and then I need to save it in a certain location so that we can reference it. So once this data is downloaded, we're just going to want to put it in a place wherever you can easily access it. I would suggest in a file folder for CE303. So this should take just a second. Okay, there it is. So for me now, you want to make sure and open this because it's a zip file. You can see that since it's a zip file, ArcGIS can't load that. So this is where we want to go in. You're going to take your data and then you're going to move it to wherever your folder is. Say it was on your desktop, you would put it in your CE303 folder. I've already put it under my desktop, so I'll just close out of this and then close out of the Internet Explorer, and then I'll go over to a catalog. Again, you can just hold over a catalog, and if I if I go into my folder connections under desktop, I have National Park here. And so we want to take that National Park and put it in there, so I'm going to drag it over here, and you can see that I can put it in several locations. Realize that if I'm putting it in a certain location, I can put it in between in this base map layer, or I can put it all the way above here, and as this puts in as a new layer. You'll see this warning that comes up, and this is because of the coordinate system that's used. There are different coordinate systems for this, as we mentioned in class. For now, for those, you can go in and you can convert from the North American to the current one, which is this one here. And so if we just click OK, you can actually see down here that the transformation is 0. These two are exactly the same, but you can convert from one to another. And we'll just click OK and then close, and that's going to bring up my national park. So you can see actually overlaid. This is very similar looking data, but this is Olympic National Park, Rainier National Park, and that. So those are importing data that way. So we've looked at doing it base layers. We've looked at importing it again by adding data like we just did, whether you got that online or have it on your computer, and then data from ArcGIS.